Hey YouTube, it's Jay Elizabeth, aka Jimmy Alice. Well, Jimmy Alice, aka Jay Elizabeth. But I wanted to come on here and talk about doing what you want to do in life, like following your passions, regardless if you're afraid or not. And speaking from personal experience, I wrote a book, and I published it. It's complete. It'll be released November 8th, 2022. And it's a memoir about me and my life and how I went through all of these seasons in life. You know, marriage, having children, all in 1 year, two children 1 year in a marriage, all 2020, all 2012, the year that the world was supposed to end, and how growing up fast, not even like in a way that's like inappropriate, just when I was 17, sheltered, Catholic school, yada yada yada, and then being pushed into the world because my dad went to jail. And then trying to figure out who I could latch onto for survival because I was scared. Then joining the military, all of that. All of that is in the book. All of the things that I thought about are in the book. All of the lessons that I learned are in the book. It's just juicy. And the part that I put in there that if I could go back, I would take out is during the time of my publishing, I was afraid, and I kind of just didn't send her the book. I paid her all the money, but I didn't send her the book. I sent it and then I pulled it back and to edit it. And I added a few things, including the fact that I was engaged at that time. And funny enough, that very day, no, it wasn't that day. I think it was like a day after, 2 days after, the person I was engaged to said something wild to me. It was a threat um, to my life. And but knowing this person knew me for 12 years, and he knew that the marriage that I was in, he actually tried to do that. And there were a lot of threats there in that one too. So I realized I published a book with old news in it. And I had to come live and talk about it because regardless of what's going on in your life, do and follow your passions. Like, complete your projects. I can finally say I completed something. Even if there's a mistake in it or a not no longer truth in it, I can say I completed it. If you order it off the website, though, my website specifically, besides like Barnes and Noble and Target and them, I can redact it for you and put like a cool quote in there. But if you order from a website, anyways, if you decide you wanted the name redacted or not, I will sign the book. It's a great book, and I'm really proud of myself. And that's why I'm saying do it scared, because there's no reason to hold yourself back because of fear, especially if you talk yourself through it. So for me, I did over the past 5 years. I've been on this like journey of finding myself. I even went to Bali, like eat, pray, love, straight up. I went to Italy too, actually, and that's where I finished the book. I'm actually gonna upload the first version of the book that I wrote, I think 2 years ago when I was in Arizona. Was that 2 years ago? I think that was last year. To my blog for free, so just so you can see my writing style, see if you want to buy the book. Um, the point is, put yourself out there. Like, nobody can stop you from shining but you. And if you're stopping yourself from shining, you have to figure out why you're stopping yourself from shining. And if you're stopping yourself from having a life that you feel is the life you really want, like a life that excites you, you have to figure out why. Like, are you punishing yourself? Are you afraid you'll outshine people? Like, I've been talking about, in the past couple of days, I've been talking about the Big Leap and the what do they call them, hidden blockages that people give themselves because of like their youth. And for me, I had to go over those, of course, and I had all four. So it was disloyalty and abandonment. Number two was the what was it? Wow. Number two was fear of outshining people, thinking you're a burden, and then there's one more. Do I have the paper? There's one more. I just want to tell you guys what it is, though. Um, Feeling you're a burden, disloyalty. Oh, and okay, I didn't have this. I'm lying. I only had three. I had three or four. Feeling like you're fundamentally flawed was the last one. I didn't think I was fundamentally flawed. I felt like I didn't fit in, which was fine to me because it felt like the people that fit in too much were being inauthentic. And I feel as though it's important to think about your past and what's holding you back. Now, I've also, and I talk about this in the book, but I've also invested in a mentorship, which was about $12,000 for the year. And then I invested in a service called Illuminations. I've invested in a sensual alchemy coach. I've invested in real therapy. I've invested in subconscious surgery. I've invested in hypnotherapy. That's why I was in Arizona with my sister. She was getting trained in hypnotherapy. And I don't regret any of it because it opened up a new level that I don't know if I would have been on if I hadn't gotten here. And it reminded me to slow down in life. Like, I was just dating someone and not even realizing how much pressure I was putting on them because this was just normal to me. Slow down and see people's levels of growth, their levels of normalcy, and allowing people to be themselves because now I'm allowing myself to be me. Before I was doing whatever will work for me to not be threatened by individuals. And I realized like I had a codependent relationship with people, and it started making me dislike people that were codependent. And that's the reason why I sent my children to their dad's house so that I could fix this issue of codependency. And for me, it turns out the root was that I didn't feel like I was able to be codependent when I was a kid. So when I was about 9 years old, my mother, she actually, they wouldn't let me be codependent. They wouldn't let me be independent. I had to just be whatever they needed me to be. So it's like important for you to recognize these cycles and these things so you can stop them and become who you want to become. So I realized that my mother, when she left when I was 9, she didn't leave. She was like taken away and put in a institution. I thought it was because of me. The only reason they were together is because of me, like my parents. She already had 2 sons. She got pregnant with me and they got married. That's the reason they got married, because of me. And then when she went to that place, that institution, it turned out to be the worst thing ever. And then we were raised by my dad, and he is a guy, so he's trying to be gentle with us. It's not like he was ever disrespectful or anything, but he was frustrated a lot because he didn't understand girls, he didn't understand women, he didn't understand the thing clearly. Great father, always kept us from harm, for the most part and tried his best. They both did their best. But as I grew up, I still was never able to be codependent because I always had to take care of my sisters. I always had to be the older sister. Now I had to figure it out. I had to do this, do that. And this is not uncommon. That's not the point. The point is, just because I never was able to be codependent doesn't mean the people that exist in the world around me can't be codependent. And I was taking this to the heart, too heavy to the heart. It was to the point where I'm making up stories. Like, I was like, should I even be online regularly? Because what if people get, what if people start wanting me to come on more and more and more and like wanting me to show up more and I disappoint them? Like, are they going to be okay? Like, will they be okay? And this also stems from the relationships I've had with men. Not all of them, but two significant ones. Both of them were like, the relationship ended. Well, I guess it was a couple of them. The relationship ended and they kind of acted like they fell apart. And I'm just, the threats, if you leave me, I'm going to do this to you. If you leave me, I'm going to do this to myself. And it's just like, well, it made codependency seem bad. But I'm over that now. I understand that people need what they need, and I'm not going to deny myself or my children things that normal human beings need. But after all those modalities that I use, that I invested in, and writing this book, and just talking to myself regularly, I realized I'm at a better level of understanding now, empathy specifically. The other day I was talking about when I was dating this guy, and when we broke up, he explained that he felt like I didn't connect with my kids enough. And then later on I reflected and realized, like, some people feel like connecting happens in the house, some people feel like connecting happens outside, and then some people don't understand that everybody isn't them. Which is funny because that's what he would say, like, everybody's not you. And it makes sense. And the codependency issue makes sense. But I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys, if you're doing anything, don't think you have to be completely unflawed or whatever to finish it and complete it and get it out there to the people that may need it more than you know. Like, the stuff that I've been through, I let my cousins read my drafts, which I'm going to upload today. Right after I get off of here, I'll upload it to my website and put it in the comments below. They were like, this is so inspirational. And it was just so regular to me. But I guess he was right. Like, everybody's not you. So it's important to remember that everybody is not you, but some people can be super inspired from just hearing your story. You could be super inspired from just hearing your story. So make sure you tell your story. Tell your story. Tell your story to your therapist. Tell your story to your mom. Let your mom tell you her story. Tell your story to your dad. Let your dad tell you his story. Tell your story. Don't think you're not important. And whatever you want to do, whether it's singing, whether it's playing musical instrument, whether it's creating something like an inventor, whether it's supporting other people with your money or giving sponsorships to people, do it. Don't hold yourself back. It's not worth it. Not worth it to hold yourself back. So, message of the day. Do it scared. Do it. Later.